there's this thing that I heard was called FU Energy. You know, FU Energy. Do y'all have FU Energy? I heard about it in the context of NBA basketball, like going into the playoffs, which is happening right now. The Detroit Pistons, this person I was listening to said that they had FU Energy, like a chip on their shoulder going into the playoffs. The San Antonio Spurs, said that they have FU Energy. And I like that. I think that the church needs some FU energy. Some, not a lot. All right, I'm talking about that energy that, like, you walk out there, ready. Like, let's do this. And you're going to push through whatever the obstacles are. You're going to stay focused. I think that the church lacks, like, overall, lacks some focus, lacks toughness, I think. And the opposite of lacking all that stuff would be FU energy. We are zeroed in, you know. I think there's FU energy in the Bible. John the Baptist, you know, the lifestyle he lived, like his origin story before his ministry, the camel, living out in the camel hair and living out in the wilderness and eating locusts and honey, right? That's to do that, you need some FU energy to come out, and he's going to preach no matter what, no matter who's in front of him, no matter if his life is at stake, and it was. And him preaching the way he did end it for him in, you know, towards the end of his life. Got him arrested and beheaded. But he wasn't concerned about all that, right? At least not to the very end. FU energy, people. Queen Esther, you know, she needed some FU energy. Different type of FU energy, like where she's going to be more reserved and focused. Like, I have to do this. She risked her life for her people. And despite her risking her life, like, she had to make a plan. She fasted for a few days, made a plan, and was going to push through no matter what. That's FU energy in a different way. King David, of course, has lots of FU energy. Jesus, even, FU energy. There's plenty of times where, especially when Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, Sadducees, I can think of one time, one of my favorite scriptures, Gospel of John, chapter 8, where Jesus is talking to a bunch of Jewish people who believed on him, the scripture says. And he's saying, look, he's talking about the children of God. You're not acting like the children of God. You are following the ways of your Father, not my Father in heaven. And then what Jesus is talking about in that scripture is like they're acting like children of the devil. Your father, the devil. And then, of course, they're irate. And they're like, you know, that's how dare you? We are children of Abraham. And Jesus is like, you know, man, Abraham would be ashamed of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus is pretty much saying, paraphrasing, like, I knew Abraham. If you loved Abraham, if you were Abraham's children, you would act and do the things that Abraham did. But you're not. You're acting like your father, the devil. And so they're really mad and say, how dare you? You're speaking as if you knew Abraham. And then Jesus is like, before Abraham was, I am. You know what I'm saying? That is FU energy right there, people. And that's what the church needs. We're too unfocused. We're too caught up in politics. We're too caught up in what people say about us. We're too caught up in, like what atheists think, what people who don't believe the Bible, what they think. Like, who cares what they think? You know what I'm saying? We're too caught up in people leaving the church. You know, let them leave, right? There's so much that I don't have time to say, but we're so unfocused. We need some toughness. We need a lot of faith, right? And I think we need that FU energy to push through all those things that are kind of distracting us and dividing us. We need that good old FU energy. So that's what I think, people. We need to love each other, serve each other, worship, and quit getting so caught up in nonsense. It's all, the rest of the stuff is just noise. Focus on the gospel. Focus on what God put in your heart. The rest of the stuff is noise. FU energy. That's what we need.